What is up, everybody, and welcome to another Taco Tuesday. I am in Chad's passenger seat here, and today we just thought we'd ride around. You know, he does have the double cab long bed truck, where mine is the access cab with the long bed. So his truck is right around a foot longer in wheelbase and overall length. And I've had the co-pilot position here for a couple days here in the past few weeks or so, and we've really gotten to see the difference between the ride quality, not only between the sport and the off-road, but also the difference between the long frame configuration and what I have in the standard frame configuration. So not only have we been on-road with this truck, but we actually took it off-road a little bit about a week ago now. And you know, a lot of my buddies do have just the standard frame length for their Tacomas, and Chad is the first person that I've actually seen that was willing to off-road his double cab long bed truck. What did we learn from that?
Well, it's not the easiest thing to do, that's for sure. Plus with my street tires, they didn't like mud too much, that's for sure.
So we the trail that we were on did have bypasses for all the major mud holes, and you know, we didn't really hit a whole lot of mud, and luckily for Chad, and kind of broke my curse that it didn't decide to hail or rain or anything like that while we were up there. But throughout the bypasses, you know, they are a little bit tight, and with the extra foot in the frame length and the overall length of the truck, it does hurt your turning radius, and it just makes things a little bit more difficult. Now, this is by no means as bad as, say, a full-size truck would be up in the woods or anything like that, but it is just a little bit more to handle, a little bit larger turning radius, and just you have to be a little bit more cautious while you're in double cab long bed. So this truck being a sport, it does have the air dam up front. We did decide to take that off before going off-road. Whether that's necessary or not, it's kind of up for debate, but it's one of those things where it's about a dozen screws to take out, and it only takes a few minutes to do. And there's what I believe is 2 screws on each corner of the truck, kind of behind in your wheel wells, and then a few other screws across the front of the truck. But like I said, it only takes a couple more minutes, and it does increase your approach angle, and it's just one less thing to worry about while you're off-road. But on-road, it is a pretty big difference in this truck. The extra foot and the sport shocks that this truck is equipped with do make the ride a little bit softer. My truck going down the interstate with the Bilsteins sometimes does get a little bit bouncy, but off-road, it really soaks up bumps nicely. This is sort of the opposite. It's really, really smooth on the highway and around town and that sort of thing, but when you start hitting some potholes and some rocks off-road, you really, really feel it. The shocks don't soak up the big bumps quite as well, but honestly, it's just as capable of a truck. The major difference, as Chad was talking about, is the tires. My truck does have more aggressive sidewalls, and with the 16-inch rim versus the 17?
Yes.
Yeah, 17-inch rim here on the Sport. You do have a smaller sidewall here on the Sport, so if you did want to air down or something like that, you couldn't air down as much with the Sport, whereas with that extra inch of rubber on the TRD off-road, it does give you a little bit more room to air down. Also, with the locker with the TRD off-roads, we didn't end up needing that, but you know, it's one of those things where it may be better to have it and never need it than to need it and not have it.
So when I was back home this weekend, about 3 hours north of where we are, I actually dropped by the Toyota dealership where I bought my truck and had the 5,000 mile service done on it, and I wandered around the lot a little bit while they were taking care of the maintenance on my truck, and there was actually the first TRD Pro for the 2017 model year that I saw there, and the price tag is probably the thing that shocked me the most about that being there on the lot. It was about $43,000. It was fully loaded, automatic transmission, everything, you know, that you're going to find in that. And, I mean, it was cool. It was in that cement gray, I believe is what the color is, right? Right. So, cement gray. And I mean, you know, it's a cool looking truck. It's really interesting with the TRD rims on it. It's got the same exact rubber on it as the TRD off-road, which is kind of interesting. You would think they might just put a little bit more aggressive of a tire on it, but you know, it was still a cool truck to see. But overall, I don't think I'll be trading in my truck for it.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing that either. But in other Tacoma news this week, there was a statement issued by Toyota that said that they were going to ramp up production in their Mexico plant by $150 million and 60%. Basically, they can't keep up with the demand of us and everyone else buying these trucks. And I guess the projections and the outlook for the future is looking pretty good for Toyota right now. And a 60% increase in Tacoma production is pretty crazy. These are already owning the market by about 70%, even over the new Colorado and Canyon twins. And while the new Ford Ranger will be joining the market here probably before too long, and more than likely will have a new Nissan Frontier here before too long, Toyota apparently really expects to own the market here in the next coming years. So that pretty much wraps up our thoughts for this week's Taco Tuesday. For next week, I would like to do a little bit of a question and answer session and address some of the frequently asked questions that I get. So if you have any questions for me, Chad, I guess about us personally or about our trucks preferably, but we can answer either question. But yeah, just let us know in the comments below or shoot me an email either way, and I'll be happy to address that. Again, I do get a lot of the same questions pretty frequently, so I'll be happy to address those. But if you do have something more specific about either a modification or something like that, be sure and ask that. Also, I will be revealing what I'll be doing to modify my truck that you all voted on, and I'll be addressing that here shortly. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.